Hello, hello, hello. This is your girl D
And Key.
from this thing called life.
Life. I's tired, y'all. I's tired. I's tired.
You's tired, boss.
I's tired, boss.
Oh, my sister tired, y'all.
Mm. I clocked almost 60 hours last week. I didn't even realize it. And I've got over almost over half of my hours for this week. And today's Tuesday.
That sounds about right.
I's tired, boss.
That sounds about right,
tired.
considering the weekend that you put in. Yeah, it's been a long day, long week. Dang,
Long
and it's
couple
just
weeks.
Tuesday.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's just Tuesday.
Okay, confession is good for the soul. How about my butt lost track of time? So you all get to see the when I'm just in the house hairstyle today and all of that because a sister did not have the time to go through and try to get all glamorized. Okay, now I got a cricket on my head. But that look, I'm telling you all, this is how it is around the house. Hey
Absolutely.
sis, hey Shell.
Hey, Shell.
How are you, my dear? Yes, it's been one of those days where you just kind of like, I want to just go to bed early.
Yes.
And
that's what I said too. I'm like, we're going to do this and I'm going to bed.
Yeah, I just want to go to bed early. It's like when you worked really long and hard when you completely lose track of time. But today we have a very, very interesting topic. And it's one that my sis kind of wanted to hit and I was like, you know what? Yeah. I was like, yeah, that's a good one.
I'm going to tell you. So I woke up on Sunday morning, and normally on Sundays, Dee goes to church. I go to church here at home, but she goes to the church. Same church. So I hear the message, right?
So we're hybrid.
We're hybrid.
Yeah.
Right here in our own house.
We're hybrid.
But so this particular Sunday I had to work. I was at the office.
Go ahead. She said she.
Oh, so I didn't hear the message at all, and I woke up with the thought, I'm not who I used to be. And I didn't say nothing to D. I didn't say nothing. I didn't say nothing until it was probably a good 6, 7, 8 hours later. And I was in my own space. Now, mind you, when I say I'm in my own space, there's nobody else in this space with me. And I heard clear as day, as if someone was sitting in the room with me and said, I'm not who I used to be. So I came over and running across the hall and I'm like, hey. I'm hearing voices. I'm tired. I'm hearing voices and you're like, well, what? And I was like, it just said, I'm not who I used to be.
And what did I do?
And she pulled up the sermon.
First I started laughing.
Yeah, first you started laughing.
Busted out laughing, yeah.
That usually that's my warning that she's either said something or something else has happened related to whatever it is I just said. And so she starts laughing. And she pulled up the sermon from Sunday. And it was about letting yourself be used, whether good, bad, indifferent, allowing yourself to be used and allowing your circumstances, whatever they are or may have been, to minister in some way or to be of use in some way, good, bad, or indifferent, for someone else.
Yep. You don't see what Michelle said, do you?
It's just like,
That voice freaked you out, didn't it?
listen, I go right across the hall. I'm like,
Right,
hey.
if you want to come on, I can send you the link, baby, and you can come on with. Look, you are welcome. It is
Who that?
not too late, Roz.
Roz.
She was like, whew, y'all should have had me on this one. If you want to, let me know and I'll shoot you the link real quick. Let me know if you want to join us online.
Because when I tell you, I was like, okay, so apparently we're supposed to talk about some stuff. And I am not who I used to be. I will say that I am definitely not who I used to be. I was always, and I won't say always. Let me backtrack a little bit. I was the wild child. I was always into stuff, always somewhere I ain't had no business being, doing something I ain't had no business doing.
She said, girl, I just took my makeup off and making dinner.
Always. So that was always me. I was always the, except when it came to this one. Because then I had to be the voice of reason for a little while. So I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. I don't think we're supposed to do this. I'm gonna go with you though, but I don't think we're supposed to do this. But I'm gonna go with you. But it came to me because I was thinking about my child. And I was thinking about the fact that, I have these friends and we're all still friends. These are people that I am still friends with, but they're like, oh, you don't come around. We don't do this. We don't do that. I said, well, first of all, cooties. So, I ain't gonna be, but I had an epiphany probably around the time that I turned 40, because that was right around the time my daughter really came into her teenage self. And she started asking me questions. And she started listening to me, to my friends, to, just what I was doing with my life.
You noticed that she was watching.
I noticed because this joker's always been watching, because she'll tell me, I remember when I was 4 and you did so and so and such. And I'll be like, what? Who? What? When? But that's when I became cognizant of the fact that she was watching. And so, I still have these friends who are like, you don't do this, you don't do that, you don't do this, you don't do that. No. Because I never want to be one of those people where it said, where I do as I say, not as I do. Mm-hmm. I ain't gonna be that. Because I believe in walking it like I talk it. So I'm not gonna tell you not to do something if I'm sitting up here doing it, especially in front of your face. Like, that's just absolutely ridiculous. So I'm not who I used to be. 1, because of my child. 2, because now mind you, when I was 19 years old, I was told that I would never be able to carry a child to term. The year before my daughter was born, 2 years before my daughter was born. She was born in 2001. So in 1999, May 16, 1999, I got into a car accident. I was sitting at a stoplight. And a truck, I was down south, they had had them, the big trucks, and they all jacked up on the wheels. And this truck ran up onto my car. And I was pinned in my car. And what happened was, when the truck started to turn, it started going over on its passenger side 2 wheels. And when they talk about a prayer, they talk about the fervent prayers.
Mm-hmm.
And it ain't got to be a whole speech.
Mm-mm.
And I was just like, Jesus, help.
Girl, don't give me started.
That was my prayer. Jesus, help. And that truck righted itself up on its 4 wheels. But the driver panicked and overcompensated and rolled right up onto my car. I was pinned in my car. I had a cracked sternum. I was in another city. I wasn't even in the city that I actually lived in, although they were all right there together. And I didn't have a phone. And of course, back then you knew people's phone numbers. But again, I wasn't in my city. I was taken to the hospital. They gave me pain meds. They did not mark it on the chart that they gave me pain meds. So then somebody else came in and gave me some more pain meds. High as Cooter Brown, y'all don't even understand. And I walked out of that hospital on my own volition, high as Cootie Bud. They didn't know where I'd gone. The police was looking for me. They done called my family up here in Indiana and said she would check into, they brought her into the hospital. They had to cut her out the car. They brought her into the hospital. She was checked in. We took the x-rays. We knew she has a cracked sternum. So now I'm walking around with my chest plate cracked and moving. Shouldn't be able to do that. So I made it back to Durham because I was in Raleigh. I made it back to Durham. I had called a friend. They were like, "Are you supposed to be?" They left me here and they gave me my clothes, so I'm fine. So I can go home. Cooter Brown. And I went home.
You know what, Theophilus Joshua? Don't get beat up.
Right. You know what? Yeah, but I did.
But back then,
Listen, that's the girl talking about the olden days. Talking about, you hear color TV, mama? I'm a deck to it.
Amen, Michelle. Praise and look at God.
So I went home. Of course, that was a huge major lawsuit. The whole nine. It was a lawsuit because one, the guy ran over me with a truck. Two, the hospital over medicated me. And three, I was allowed to just walk out of the hospital and nobody seemed to know where I was. Like I was at home in the bed sleep before they finally found me. And at that point in time, not knowing, I had been missing for like 7 hours.
Yeah, because you was high.
I didn't know I was missing. I was at home. I didn't know I was missing. So, they had the police out looking for me and everything. And so they were coming to my grandmother's house because that's where I was. They were coming to my grandmother's house to tell her that I was missing. And she's like, "She's back here in the bed asleep. What you mean? She's back there asleep."
And they're like, "Hey, what?"
Yeah. So, there was a whole long recovery process and of course but at this time I was very, very devout in my church. And so when I talk about being used, when, they have the people that come, they prophesy over you in the church. I'm not one of them folks. I'm not a big religious person. At the time, church seemed like the right thing to do. And I was just like, what you doing?
Attending church.
I was attending church.
Yeah.
I was attending church. And this woman comes up to me and she says, "Honey, you're supposed to cook and to testify." I'm testifying in court? What am I testifying for? I don't understand. So, cook and testify. That was on my brain for years. For years. Now, literally, shortly after this, I ended up having my child, my love. I love her to death. And I said that she saved my life because after that accident, I became so hooked on those pain medications. And when I wasn't on the pain medications, I started finding other avenues to take away those pains. When I tell y'all my daughter saved my life, because I was functioning. I was doing what I was doing. I was racing motorcycles. I was living a good life for her daddy. Everything was everything. But when I found out about my daughter, everything stopped. Everything changed. My whole world, at that point in time, it was like hitting a brick wall. Everything stops. And I changed my life. That was the first time I changed my life. Because again, hey, I'm about to have a mom, be a mom that no one, they said I would never have kids. So, I had this kid, so now I'm doing the mom thing. Well, after a while doing the single mom thing, because, time came, her father and I did separate. So then I was back to being wild.
Born to be
You know, because sometimes you just can't fight it. You just be
Oh,
like, you know,
sorry.
anyway.
I'm sorry.
So, and then, like I said, when I got to be 40, like I said, that's when I realized that she was paying attention to what I was doing and to my life and what was going on. And so I changed, had to switch up the way I was moving. So now I'm going to tell you the part why all of that matters, because this is the part I haven't told you. I talked to a friend that she's down in North Carolina, and I had not talked to her in maybe 4 years. And the night that I told Dee that I wanted to talk about I'm not who I used to be. This is a chick I used to party with. When I say party, matter of fact, she might have been
one you were on the phone with, and you all were just chopping it up about going down memory lane. Okay.
But when I say to you that I hadn't talked to her in like 4 years, and we're just sitting up there and we're just chopping it up and we're talking about, what I was saying was, matter of fact, I think she was one of the people that I called that came and got me out of the hospital. So when I say we used to party, like this was one of
your motorcycle sets.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Enough said.
Yeah.
But look, enough said.
I mean, life.
Look, get me enough said on that. Yeah.
We talked and we were going, talking about, like you said, going down that going down memory lane trip. And we laughed and we cackled and we had a good time. What I didn't know was she was calling to tell me goodbye. She was going to commit suicide that night. And she was calling to say goodbye. And this is why I haven't talked about this. Talking to her about my life now. Talking to her about the changes that I had to make in my life. Talking to her about not being who I used to be may very well be the reason that she's here with us right now. And I've talked to her every day since then. But may very well be the reason that she's here right now.
Our transparency has helped a whole lot of people.
But when y'all don't know how I struggle about talking about my personal stuff, like these real open with y'all, do you tell you?
But see, that I'll tell them stuff, but then there's still a lot of but there's still a whole lot of stuff
that we don't talk
about that I hold. Yeah.
And
as open as I am, there is some stuff that remains unknown.
But I say that to say, I'm one of those people that's very close. This thing called life has helped me to, of course, be more open, more transparent. But I say that to say, you never know when who you used to be helps someone else to keep being.
That's why, in my opinion, it is so important for us to be open and be honest and be transparent. Becoming a parent is supposed to change us. Unfortunately, some parents didn't get the memo. But, and tackling just what that statement alone, what a lot of, I'm not a parent in the sense of I had a child crack my tail. But God has blessed me to be, you need some of my tea?
Yes, please.
It's hot.
Okay.
God has blessed me to, even still be a part of,
thank you.
Okay. The lives of so many.
Mm-hmm.
And, the one thing that I've noticed that I try to put emphasis on when it comes down to parenting and even just being influence on the lives of young people
Mhm.
are, well, the one thing is we have to remember that we are dealing with growing adults.
Mm.
And, you know, and I'm going to use my brother as an example. He may call me later and talk about me, but I'm going to use
Hey,
him as an
TJ.
example. But he has been through a whole lot of different things
Mhm.
with relationships and even with his children's mother.
Mhm.
For a long time, they were, I was the go between in order to exchange the children between the two of them
Mm.
because the relationship was so volatile.
Mhm.
Now they have gotten to a better place of, you know, not the best place, but a better place
Mhm.
of co parenting. And she's amazing. Um, but even with that, he, I look at him, I look at their bonus mom,
Mhm.
Trish, and how
She's
she
amazing.
loves them as if they came from her poo poo.
Mhm.
You would never, ever, ever, ever know that
That she
she did
didn't.
not biologically birth
Mhm.
those children. And I have seen the growth. And those children have been through a lot, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But to see how genuine love has really helped to pull them to a better place. And
Mhm.
not just the love from her, but I can always tell because all of the kids love my brother. They jump on him. He's that dad that goes out there and plays ball with the boys. He's that one that will go out and walk with the girls. He hates talking about the fact that the girls are growing up, but what dad doesn't?
Of course.
Um, but it's like they like Serenity will just go jump on his head. It doesn't matter if he's asleep. And then the other kids will just come in and they'll just pile on top of him like, it's a football game or
Mhm.
something. But it's like when you are able to impart, and we impart into them a lot of times when we realize it. Like
Mhm.
the way that my brother and Trish may interact with each other. They're teaching those kids at that moment how they should or should not deal with conflict or how they should and should not show love.
Mhm.
And I'm just using him as an example because he's my firstborn given to me by my mother you know via her womb.
Mhm.
But it's like, it's a situation where,
Y'all got to forgive me. This stuff got to come down.
oh, let it come down, baby, let it come down. This thing called life. They're seeing mine up, like I usually have it, when we're just chilling at the crib.
Yeah.
But and I'm saying all that to say, when you were talking about how Kay watches you
Mhm.
and they pay attention to things that we don't even realize they're paying attention to.
Mhm.
They notice things that we don't realize they notice. Like Serenity is 4, I think it is
Mhm.
now. And she can tell when mommy or daddy doesn't feel good. And
Mhm.
see, Caden was the same way. Piglet, well, all of them are very intuitive.
Intuitive. Yeah.
But they'll just become really, really, are you okay? You want something? You want something to drink? Or they'll just come lay up on them or just little things. And and I attribute that to the fact that they see love.
Mhm.
So they know when, not necessarily when love is off, but when a person is down,
Mhm.
they can sense it, they see it. And so you're talking about your friend and how she reached out to you. It wasn't by accident
Mm.
that she reached out, because even though you all may not have been communicating, I'm pretty sure she's kind of seen a post here and there
No, I'm sure.
that you've posted.
Mhm.
She's probably seen something, here and there that you may have seen or said in a live feed, or, because we know people watch, but they may not always engage.
Yeah.
So when I say to you, I'm proud of the woman I tell you this offline all the time,
Mm.
but I'm so proud of, one, the mother that you are. Two, I'm proud of the woman that you are, because y'all, if the stuff we used to do back in the day was recorded by the technology of today, woo wee, mm, mm, mm.
I'd probably be unemployable.
You say we would be.
Look, wait. Mm.
You said we would be, but
Unemployable.
it's a deal where you know I'm thankful for the growth,
Yeah.
because I put up a post last night, because I've been so good. I have been so good, like online. Those of you that know me, I have been so good. But it was just I have a whole gang
Yeah.
of stuff that I wish I could just dump on my personal page. But it's like, and I was like, you know what? Just for the sake of, just for old time's sake, so I put my frogs up. Those of you,
When I saw them damn frogs.
I'm just saying. Now we know why they're so noisy at night. But I'm just saying and that's all I'm saying. Now we know why yeah. But anywho, um, but look,
You and them frogs. What happened?
I thank God for your growth too, Micho. You know what? See, you talk about, I used to have a really quick temper.
No.
Well, several of you know, but I had a really quick temper. And, I was a fight first, sort through the details later kind of girl. And I have gotten to the point that I went through that stage of, okay, I'll argue with you and then we can tangle up. And now I'm just at the point of, you know what? I really don't care. If you don't touch me or come too close within my personal circumference, then you can say what you want to. Just stay the hell over there. Just stay over there. Unless you are just being just downright blatantly disrespectful to the point that you just need to be punched in your mouth. But
I ain't there yet.
I know, but you have grown significantly. But even with us talking about things like that, just in general, even with our how we handle things um in our personal lives, and I'll deal with Theophilus Joshua later. That's my brother, y'all. That's my brother. That's the baby of the family. For those of you who don't know.
Hold on. I just want to, because it was a comment that was put up there and I want to address it. When you put on Miss Ross, because I'm going to talk about you, because I saw it. When you put that statement up there, when you were talking about the book, you have put a post up and you said, what business does it seem like I would have, or what does it seem like I would be doing? And I said, a life coach, an author, and the CEO of everything. I think those were the three options that I put on her page.
Mm-hmm.
But the one that I kept pressing her on was being an author.
Mm-hmm.
So she says, y'all all up in my business telling me to write the book my mom has been begging for me to. I've overcome so much. Trust me, honey. Look, I can't even begin to write my own story at this point in time. When I get old and I start writing, folks are gonna be like, "What?" But I told you this was what, six months ago, as you were still with the little lady. I told you then,
Mm-hmm.
it's your time. You keep trying to hit me ha, but it's your time.
She said, yes,
Yes,
she
you
did.
did. hmm I told her that.
And then Theophilus still trying to get
What
beat
is
up.
that?
Try blacking out to demonically kill. See, you can't be telling everybody everything. You can't tell everything.
Let's just say, I don't think we should probably be welcomed in certain cities together ever again. They'll be like, "Oh, you two are back." No, no, together. Y'all come separately. Y'all can't come together.
And that's all we're gonna say on that. Yes, but
thank God for growth. Thank you, God, for growth.
But when we look at it for, like I said, just even in our personal lives and the things that we used to tolerate in personal relationships, now that we have grown and matured and we have gotten to a place of not just what we will and won't accept from others, but what we will and won't put out ourselves. That personal accountability. It was like, I've, kind of been vocal about how things were with me and my husband, and and they know. It was like, it was really, really volatile. And it was like, and it took some really hard soul searching.
Yeah.
And you really don't have, when you're dealing with yourself, it's not hard to know what's wrong. The hard part is making the conscious decision to fix what's wrong. Yeah. Because, sometimes we will beat ourselves up and we will allow people to feed us with lies about ourselves for so long until we start to believe them. We start to believe we're not worthy of certain things. We start to believe that, things have to be this way, or, they're just not right. One of the biggest things that I had to do was I had to learn how to compromise. I had to learn how to
What's that?
To listen and actually hear the heart of my husband.
Yeah, he does have a good heart.
I had to learn to, because I would hear the words and I would try to address whatever he said his needs were based on what he said, but I didn't hear his.
From your scope.
Right, from my perspective. But I did not hear his heart. And my unwillingness to do that for so long caused so many years of just unnecessary bullcrap between us. Yeah. Because when I got real with self, it took the tears, it took the damn D. Why didn't why he been telling, why didn't you just look at yourself? Why couldn't you see this? He was telling you, but why couldn't you see it?
Because you weren't hearing with your heart.
And then the other part is, I didn't want to change. Yeah. So we're talking about, I am not who I used to be. Yeah. I didn't want to change. I wanted to keep that I don't give a damn attitude. Yeah. But the fact of the matter was, I did care.
I know you did.
But I just wasn't willing to let that wall down completely, to show that I cared. So when we talk about I am not who I used to be,
You are so much more open now than I think that ever really remember you being. And even when we reconnected, I always felt like there was more, and there was a lot that you were just kind of holding back and concealing.
well, see, I had been through hell and high water, a lot of parallels that you had
Yeah, exactly.
experienced,
Exactly.
and so many others have experienced. And so when we talk about not being who we used to be, the only way we're going to change is if we get honest with ourselves.
Mm,
And getting honest with self is not an easy thing to do.
by any means.
I mean, we start trying to justify, okay, well, I'll give in these areas,
But I ain't
but
great
I'm not.
change right
I'm
here.
gonna hold on to this part right here. I can't because see, if I open up right here, or if I let these go, if I let these thought processes change, then things are gonna go to hell in a handbasket.
Mhm.
Well, things might be hell in a
It
handbasket
already, and you just don't see it.
because you won't let go
Yeah.
of what you're holding on to,
Yeah.
those things that are toxic. And sometimes, like I said, we allow things to become a part of us,
Mhm.
our mental, our emotional. I mean, until and it's like we become robotic,
Mm. Mm.
in those areas of our lives. We become robotic. And it's like, so if I see this, I instantly respond like this.
Yeah.
If I hear this, I instantly go into this mode.
But do you know how hard that is not to do that?
It's a matter of retraining
And I'm going to say,
yourself.
for me, when I say, do you know how hard that is to do that? Is because, as far as in my own personal dealings, it has only been like the past couple of years where I have just allowed myself to be open
Right.
to even not needing, because I can't say that there's ever not been a need for a partner, but there's never been a desire
Mhm.
for a partner. And in that, I mean, there were people in my life,
But just to have that connection.
yeah, just to have that connection. But when you wanted to push at me, when you wanted to dig into me on an emotional level, or when you were trying, yeah, nah, I'm gonna need you to take that over there. I got this right here. I'm gonna need you to take that over there. And it really took being involved with someone who is very self-absorbed.
A narcissist.
For me to actually be like, wait a minute,
I'm just look, I'm melting.
I know. I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, for me to actually just start to even actually open myself up, because I'm sitting up there going, okay, so what is it that I'm not seeing? Because there were times, it could be that, that person was like, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. And I'm going, who? Who are you talking about? Like, I'm ready to fight. Who are you talking about? And it's not like I can fight this tree, but I'm like, who what you talking? Let's go. He's like, you really want to fight? Yes, I want to fight you. Well, you did too, but that's besides the point. But like, yeah, I want to fight you. And he was like, look here, Peep Squeak. What you think you're gonna do? Because I'm making you look at yourself.
Mm.
When I tell you I didn't talk to him for like 3-4 months, I didn't. I refused. When he made that comment, why? Because I make you look at yourself. And I will say, so we had that conversation in 2018 going into 2019. And so from that point forward, it has just been Even in doing the show, it has just been a matter of just kind of opening up because I'm seeing more of, I'm as you said, you having to do that self work, and I'm having to really, and there are times when I'm just sitting up and I'm just, really having to look in the mirror and be like, why are you doing that? Why did you react that
I
way?
do that too. Oh
See,
my
it's
God. I
crazy.
will stand in front of the mirror and be
Yeah.
like,
Why'd you do
right.
that?
Dee,
Why
now
did
you
you
know
react?
that wasn't right. Now, why did you turn around and respond that way?
That's the one. That part, that one right there. Why did you respond that way? Why do you react that way? Why do
Or
you respond
why
that way?
did you let that? Now you know how XYZ is.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you let what that individual do or don't do
Affect you.
bother you? Right. Why?
Move you.
And it's not like it's like, okay, it's not your husband. It's not, someone that you deal with on a regular basis. So why do you allow those people to affect how you go about your daily life? Why do you allow them to affect how you feel, your mood, your mindset?
Mhm. Because I've come to the understanding that someone who can affect your mood by calling, by sending a text message, by
Or just saying the friggin' name when you're scrolling through, or
and
oh
it's
my
just like,
goodness, it's like, yeah.
why is that? Why have you? What is it that makes you give that person that much
Mm-hmm. Her homeland is coming through.
power? Yeah, I get a little testy.
That New York Bronx accent, yes.
So yeah, but no, there's no he. But to actually just, when you get to that point where, because I'm going to be honest, my mother and I did not have a great relationship for many, many years. Um, but in this time of me opening up and of me being more reflective of self, I knew that I was healing when I started seeing my mother as a person who has her own faults and flaws and trauma, and not just as mother, not mama, not mom, not mommy, but mother. People be like, what do you call your mother? Mother. Like, damn, that's cold. I'm just like, that's who she is. But again, in this time of my own, like I said, my own self journey, my own self healing,
And
my
in the
own
days
self growth.
and in the days of
Oh,
COVID,
and in the
and
days of
dealing with
COVID,
and health, health related
health,
concerns, and just
I actually saw my mother. This is probably the second time in my life, but this is the time when it really hit and stuck with me and changed how I move and how I deal with her, was when a health crisis hit our family. And I saw my mother break. And I had to step in and I had to handle things and I had to take over. Now, it's the same things that I have done before in the past.
but because of who was affected, it was on a totally different level.
Not even just because of who was affected, but I'm going to say, because I am more cognizant and aware of who I am and where I am, it allowed me to see her
In a different level.
in a totally different way. To not just see
And to understand
her in a totally different manner. Yeah, that it took 47 years to get to, but to understand, like
But
you
you
said,
got there.
I did. But it just took.
It's a process.
It is.
when you have lived this thing called life and it has not all been a bed of roses.
The
Or
thorns.
see, but when it hasn't been as fragrant as the flower of a rose.
Yeah. I don't like them anyway.
But you know what I'm saying.
I know.
So I know it. It does put things in a different perspective because see, the relationship you had with her is totally different than the one I had with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
My mom knew everything all the way down to when I lost my virginity. Oh well, so when I was yeah. Yeah. So it's like we had different experiences, and because of that, we can bring balance when we have situations to arise.
Mm-hmm.
Because there have been times where you've experienced certain things and you've been able to help people, but then when you're talking to them, it's like, hold on, you need to hit D about that part.
Yeah, you need
Because
to talk to D
and then vice versa. It's like, well, I've been through this, that, and the third, but Key would probably be the one that you would need to talk to about, whatever it is that you're dealing with. And that's why I believe that, God reconnected us. We always talking about yin and yang. It's not yin and yang. It's yin, Y-I-N, and yang. I get so tickled when I see that. But that yin and yang, it's like when you're having a good day, I tend to have a crazy day.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm having a good day, you tend to sometimes have like the craziest of days. But when we look at it just from a total perspective, there have been more days where everything was good.
Mm-hmm.
And everything was at an even keel.
Mm-hmm.
And so I will say, I'm thankful for all of our experiences.
Oh yeah.
Now, would I want to relive some of them?
Hell no. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I was young.
No, I would definitely not want to I definitely would not want to relive some of them. But the reality is,
they made us who we are.
They made us exactly who we are. And it's so funny because I'm tickled because I keep going back to the frogs. Because when I put up my initial picture saying, y'all, I've been so good. And there was like, people like, okay, they were encouraging me, but they didn't realize, like, for real, there was like this angel and on one shoulder and that devil duality. With the pitchfork on the other shoulder saying, do it. The frog, Kermit the Frog. He had the regular Kermit, and then you got the one in the hoodie. Dog
Kermit.
So it's like I had those two Kermits sitting on my shoulders, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I could do that one. I could do that. No.
Baby, when I saw them frogs.
But so I was like, just one. If I just do one, then I think I feel better. And that wasn't even the worst one of the ones that I wanted to really put out there. Sure. But it was just like, and then Michelle turned her foot. Hey, there she is. Hey, sister. Yes. And I got so tickled.
Yes.
I got so friggin' tickled.
And that goes back to the timing and the you and I and in our ebb and our flow. Because when I saw it, now for those who don't know, I've not been on Facebook. Like I was on there today because I was in a mood. But I'm generally not on Facebook. I had been working upwards of 50 plus hours a week. I don't have time. So like me sitting here right now is a wonderful thing because
she's still and she's not working.
And I don't even have my work phone with me. Like it's somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, but when I saw that, because I didn't even see when you posted it.
Which one? The
frog.
Okay.
So like even the good and bad, the whole
The
thing.
dress when I
Yeah.
was
So
in
I
the
saw that at
yeah.
like 6, 7 this morning. I'm just
Like what?
oh Lord, what's she gonna do?
Not realizing the timeline.
Right.
Okay.
So I was just like, oh Lord, what's she gonna do? I said, well, I ain't seen nothing pop up. I ain't wake up to no weird alerts, so it's whatever. So now when I went back into my phone hours later, of course, it's right up under it. But this morning, I didn't see the second notification. And so when I finally saw the post, I was sitting there, I was gritting my teeth, trying, was it my gritting my teeth, and my tongue was trying to push through my teeth. But that was one of those moments where I was just like,
really frustrated with some stuff.
And so that's why I was the only reason I was even on my phone. Because I was on my phone a lot today, because I was just like, y'all don't even know that y'all are helping me to not commit harakiri on some of these folks, so I'm just sitting there. And so I am in the middle of a Zoom meeting where my eyes is red. I'm like, yo, look, son, I'm done with it. Like, I'm ready to walk up out of here. Like, I'm done. I just saw it. I'm just like, so I'm sitting there scrolling on my phone, and I saw the frogs. I saw the frogs and busted out laughing. Now, mind you, the people who are on the screen that are, that are directly facing me can't hear me. However, there are 3 other people who are also on the Zoom who are sitting around me.
Okay.
One of which has the microphone on.
Oh.
So I'm sitting there, and everybody's just, they're out. And like I said, all of a sudden I just bust out laughing. And one stood up, he's real tall and lanky. He was like looking at me. I'm just like, And I just kept, I kept laughing, and I kept going. But it was one of those I needed. So I mean, it happened to fall right when I needed it, because I'm one of those people, I cry when we get emotional. However, if I cry because I'm mad,
it's on a different level. Yeah.
Hiroshima ain't got nothing on that. And I was just sitting there, and I was just like, my eyes were burning, my leg was going. I'm like, I'm surprised I didn't crack my phone. Like,
well, I'm so glad the frogs helped you today.
Girl.
My inbox blew up. Girl, what in the world? I was like, well, those newbies, they got a
baptismal by frog.
Not by fire, but by frog. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. But and it even with some of the responses that I got on both posts, saying that in some of the inboxes, like, nope, don't do it. Nope, don't do it. You've come too far. And I'm sitting up here thinking to myself, having fun. We're all adults. Well, all the people that are on my page are adults.
I think mine are all legal now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All of them.
Yeah, like I had
everyone on my page are adults. Mm-hmm. So we tend to, and I'm like, and so I'm like, if I don't get as raw with it like I used to, I'm like, there's still nothing wrong with good laughter, even if, because see, I know certain people see it, even though they cannot respond publicly. I know some people see it, and then some of them will hit me, and they're like, "Girl, I like you were just saying, I needed that laugh.
Yeah.
Thank you I miss you just putting random crazy stuff on your page every now and then." And it made me, and when you brought this topic, I was like, I should not be struggling with my authenticity.
Mm-mm.
Because because one young lady that's known me since she was a little girl, she said, we love all of you.
Of course.
And she hit me and she was like, I appreciate that
Mhm.
because you have so many people. Yeah, you talk about God and yes, you encourage us. And yes, if people cross you, you're going to cuss them out real sweet, But on the flip side of that, you are a woman, you are, you inspire, but then you also love to make people laugh.
And
And
that's so much of what's needed right
you
now.
find stuff that deals with just real life, just random stuff that is real life.
Yeah.
And you'll put it on your page and everybody's like, have you seen Dee's page?
Yeah.
Have you been to Meet Your Page? Please tell me
You
have
saw
been
that
there.
on Meet Your Page.
Please tell me. And like with those sandals, those bunion friendly sandals, for $595 that I posted, but it was like people laughed because they know that we love shoes. So when I saw the shoe, I was like, well, I had to find something positive. So, I was like, okay, they're good for people with bunions. I had to find something positive. But then when you called me out, I was like, okay. And see, the 4 pair of shoes I already had those in my phone to post them. But when you actually just called me out, like, now how you gonna put this mess up here?
Well, I demand reparations.
Right. It's like, but at least I did not tag the delegation, the shoe delegation.
Because we'd all been mad.
Right. Right. Because I was upset when I saw it.
You'd be like, what you take us in this mess for?
Right. But, going back to the original topic, I'm proud of God using you to be that light that your friend needed. Now that there's someone that's near and dear to my heart that's in the hospital fighting for his life right now. Mm-hmm. And you know how I feel about his mate, his wife, or whatever you want to call her. And see, my feelings just kind of seeped out a little bit.
Yeah, wherever you want to call it.
But there was an urgency.
Yes.
That I needed to call her. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking it was so that I could get an update. Mm-hmm. But in essence, it was because she needed someone to talk to, because she needed someone to be there to listen and to be a support system for her in the midst of the health crisis that the family is going through. So I want to say to you, I appreciate you being there for her because it made me think about the fact that, sometimes we never know why that phone call is coming through. Yeah. Sometimes we don't know why that message is sent. Sometimes we don't know why that person is put on our hearts. Sometimes we just don't know and we don't understand. Mm-mm. But then all things are revealed in its own time. So I'm going to say this. I'm not going to say I'm going to say this. And we've said it time and time again. Our experiences, our lived experiences are not for us. They are to help somebody else. Yeah. We go through things sometimes by they are the consequences of our choices. Sometimes they aren't the consequences of our personal choices. But all in all, those experiences were made a part of our lives so that we could impact the life of someone else. Mm-hmm. when
to
I
live
was
with that.
raped, that didn't feel good.
Hell no.
That left me devastated.
Yeah.
But because of my experience, I was able to help a child that was in the process of being violated.
Mm-hmm.
She was able to, because of a discussion that was being held, she was able and she felt comfortable enough to come to me to talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
So we were able to address, and it wasn't just her that was being violated. There were a couple of other individuals as well, a couple of other children as well
Mm-hmm.
that was being violated at that time by that person.
Mm-hmm.
So, my experience helped her, helped them.
Mm-hmm.
And that is kind of what helped to change my perspective on painful experiences in life.
Mm-hmm.
I still hate painful experiences.
Well, of course.
But I've learned how to take them when necessary and share them
For someone else.
for someone else's good.
Absolutely.
Because like even when we did the scoliosis show, we didn't know about the young lady that, your friend was connected to that was dealing with that situation.
Nope, sure didn't.
And so when God puts something on one of our hearts, it's for a reason. So whomever this is for, trust me, you are not the way you used to be.
For a reason.
For a reason. I know my husband is happy. I'm not the way I used to be.
Listen.
I think the whole house is happy. I'm not the way I used to be.
I'm going to tell y'all something. I love these people. I was about to be too less, but I love these people.
So I want to encourage people, if you've been through some things, or even if you're going through something, find a support group.
Yeah.
Find someone or get counseling. And if you go get counseling, be ready to be real. Because it doesn't make sense to go if you're not going to be authentic with getting the stuff dealt with that's held you bound.
Ooh. Yeah. That's real. That's oof. Yeah. That's definitely absolutely.
So I'm done.
That's us in our authenticity.
Right.
Because if you can't be anything else, you need to be authentic. Because if you can't be anything else with anybody else, you got to figure out how to be it with yourself.
And that's why so many of us have been in toxic relationships, because we won't get real with ourselves because we haven't dealt with whatever from whenever. And that's another show.
But sometimes it's just,
well, but and things take time. It's like you were just saying, it takes time for us to get to a place of a certain mindset, and then to just kind of, this is just how it is.
Yeah.
But it also takes time to peel back those layers to get back to the beginning.
Yeah.
It takes a minute to get back.
Sometimes it's not even the beginning, because one of the words that keeps resonating with me is metamorphosis. Ooh. So when we talk about metamorphosis, and you start, sometimes it takes the time. You gotta peel back those layers, and it just takes time. Sometimes it's not even to get back to the beginning, but it's to get to where you are going to be. That's exactly what I was just sitting up and thinking. You have to go, because and they talk about when you see a chrysalis and you see a butterfly, and it's going through the process of its metamorphosis. When it's going through that process, one of the worst things that you can do is to open that chrysalis for that butterfly, because breaking open that chrysalis, is a part of its becoming. It's a part of its strength. Opening the chrysalis is what enables the butterfly to have the strength of the wings that it needs to carry itself. So like I said, that's why they say, well, that's one of the worst things that you can do. So when you sit there and you talk about peeling back those layers, sometimes it's not peeling back those layers to get back to who you were, because you don't need to be where you were. You don't need to be stagnant. You don't need to go backwards. But sometimes the struggle and the peeling is for who you're to become.
You better teach today.
Girl.
Teach, I say. Dag nabbit.
I'm about to go teach myself some of that wine over there. Take my behind the bed. That's what I'm about to go teach. Teach the baby how to open a bottle of wine.
But that was a phenomenal way to actually close things out. That was a phenomenal way to actually close it out. Metamorphosis. Be authentic in your metamorphosis. Be true to you.
Be true to you. And true to who, maybe not who you were, but who you're meant to be.
Girl, if you didn't just preach a whole sermon in about 5 minutes. I mean, just be true to you. Be authentic in your metamorphosis. Because they say it is very painful for the caterpillar while they are in the cocoon.
Yeah, can you imagine? Like, your body. Yeah, your body is stretching and splitting and reconfiguring itself into something completely different from where it started out. And to roll and to have those wings. I mean, when they was a caterpillar this big, them wings was in there.
You know what I thought about?
What's that?
I just thought about a werewolf.
Yes. Oh my God.
And how painful it is when they are going through and those joints are
and they bones,
everything popping and cracking.
we like supernatural stuff. Can you tell?
Yeah. But look, as we're both sitting up here doing the effects of it, yeah. But yeah, so that's that word. That's that word. So you all get ready, because that means that my page about to be lit. I'm gonna be nice about it, but it's gonna be lit. I got some more work and stuff I gotta get completed, but I
just had an image to come into my head. I gotta create it.
Okay. And but anyway, we appreciate those of you that tuned in today. We love you all, and we thank you for tuning in to this thing called life. Take care, everyone.
Good night.